Next time you walk down the supermarket cereal aisle, I want you to realize something absolutely terrifying. That innocent, colorful wall of sugary goodness? It is a lie. It is the active fallout of a Victorian psychological war. You pour milk over a bowl of crunchy, innocent Corn Flakes, feeding them to your kids thinking, wow, what a healthy way to get some morning energy. Wrong. That breakfast wasn't made to give you energy. It was engineered by a fanatical, cult-like doctor to be a literal, flavorless torture device. A culinary weapon specifically designed to absolutely destroy your sex drive and stop you from touching yourself. Welcome to Fascinating Facts. Today we are looking at the horrifying true story of
Eliminates all carnal desire. Never feel impure impulses again. The monk's delight. A bowl a day keeps lust away.
Let's rewind to the late 19th century. Medicine back then was, well, let's just call it highly experimental. Got a cough? Here's a bottle of premium heroin. Got a headache? Let's drill a hole in your skull to let the demons out. But into this chaotic medical world stepped Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, a man whose beard was as thick and rigid as his moral superiority. Kellogg took over the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan. Now, don't let the word sanitarium fool you. This wasn't some creepy, abandoned hospital in a horror movie. It was basically a luxury wellness cult for the ultra-rich. Think of a modern-day influencer health retreat, but replace the yoga mats with terrifying Victorian machinery. Billionaires, politicians, and celebrities like Henry Ford and Thomas Edison all flocked there because their tummies hurt from eating too much rich person food. And how did Dr. Kellogg cure the global elite? Oh, just normal doctor stuff. Strapping them into aggressive mechanical slapping machines, submerging them in continuous electric shock water baths, and of course his absolute favorite medical procedure, pumping literal gallons of yogurt up their... Actually, let's just keep this PG and move on. Beneath all the slapping machines and yogurt hoses, Kellogg had one absolute fanatical obsession: purity. He believed the human body was a sacred temple, and the absolute worst, most destructive thing you could possibly do to that temple was touch it. Yep, Kellogg firmly believed that self-pleasure was the root cause of literally every single disease on the planet. Got some mild acne? You're a sinner. Got bad posture? Stop touching yourself. Going insane? Yep, that's the devil's handiwork right there. But Kellogg didn't just blame the physical act. He blamed the diet. He theorized that eating meat, salt, spices, or anything that actually brought joy to your taste buds would violently inflame your passions and send you straight into a sinful frenzy. So, his genius medical solution? Make food so soul-crushingly bland, so aggressively, violently flavorless, that it would literally depress your central nervous system and kill your sex drive. Imagine being a multi-millionaire oil tycoon, paying today's equivalent of tens of thousands of dollars a week just to experience this exact interaction. Doc, please, I am literally begging you. I will give you half my fortune for a single medium-rare steak and one singular grain of salt. I'm dying. Silence, you filthy sinner! Meat is the devil's fuel. Spices are the seeds of lust. Now open your mouth and eat your plain, unsalted boiled cabbage water, or I am getting the yogurt hose. Dude, uncool. The patients were absolutely miserable. They were crying literal waterfalls over their bowls of plain, boiled mush. But Kellogg didn't care. He was on a holy crusade to rid the world of flavor, and he was just getting started. Now, running a massive cult-like wellness empire wasn't a one-man job. Enter Will Keith Kellogg, or as John Harvey Kellogg affectionately called him, "Hey idiot, clean my shoes." Will was John's younger brother. He was the bookkeeper, the business manager, and the general punching bag of the operation. While Dr. John was busy parading around in his spotless white suits, lecturing millionaires about the evils of pepper, Will was in the back room, working 120-hour weeks, getting paid absolutely nothing, and desperately trying to keep the sanitarium from going bankrupt. Their dynamic was completely toxic. John literally made Will trot behind him while he rode his bicycle, taking dictation like a Victorian intern. "Dr. Kellogg, I am literally having a heart attack. My legs are giving out. I haven't slept since Tuesday." "Faster, Will. I need to dictate chapter 44 on why mustard makes you go blind." It was a nightmare. But Will's biggest headache was the food. See, before the magical flake was invented, the sanitarium diet consisted mostly of something called zwieback. Zwieback was basically bread that had been baked, dried, and then baked again until it possessed the structural integrity of concrete. Patients were literally breaking their teeth on this stuff. They were miserable, starving, and dropping thousands of dollars just to need emergency dental surgery. Will knew they needed a better way to feed the elite. So the brothers started experimenting with boiling wheat in the sanitarium kitchen to make it softer and easier to chew. And then, in 1894, a happy accident occurred. The brothers had a batch of wheat boiling, but Dr. John got called away to perform a highly urgent yogurt-related emergency. They left the wheat sitting out for days. When they finally came back, the wheat had gone completely stale. Any normal, rational human being would have thrown it in the trash, but Dr. Kellogg was incredibly cheap. Will, do not throw that garbage away. We spent 3 cents on that wheat. Put it through the heavy metal dough rollers anyway. John, it's literally rotting. It's going to turn into a disgusting paste. I said roll it. So, Will cranked the rollers. But instead of a doughy paste, the stale wheat was pushed through and came out as large, thin, crispy flakes. They baked the flakes, and the result was astonishing. It was dry, it was crunchy, and most importantly, it tasted like absolutely nothing. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg was ecstatic. He took one bite of this dry, dusty, cardboard-flavored shrapnel, and he practically cried tears of joy. Will, this is it. This is the holy grail of medicine. It is? Yes, it has zero flavor. It has zero joy. It is so incredibly boring that no one eating this could possibly ever feel passion again. The sins are cured. I am a genius. And just like that, the anti-sin flake was born. They soon switched from wheat to corn, creating the very first Corn Flakes. Dr. Kellogg immediately prescribed them to his patients, forcing them to eat bowls of these dry, unsweetened flakes to cleanse their souls. And honestly, the patients kind of like them. I mean, compared to chewing on literal rocks, a crunchy flake was a massive culinary upgrade. But Will Kellogg, the stressed-out business manager, saw something else. He saw a gold mine. Will realized that former patients weren't just eating the flakes at the sanitarium. They were actually writing letters, begging to have boxes of this cardboard cereal shipped directly to their homes. Will's eyes turned into giant dollar signs. He went to his brother with a brilliant business proposition. John, people actually want to buy this stuff. We could sell this to the masses. We could make millions. We just need to make one tiny, microscopic little change to the recipe so it doesn't taste like literal dust. What kind of change, Will? Well, what if we just, I don't know, added a little bit of sugar? There was a silence, a long, terrifying, deadpan pause. This enraged John Harvey Kellogg, who punished him severely. Sugar? In my holy passion-killing flakes? That is the seed of sin. You want to turn my medical miracle into a delicious, lust-inducing nightmare? Get out of my sight! Dr. John absolutely refused to compromise his anti-sin crusade for something as vulgar as money. But Will? Will was tired of being yelled at, tired of being poor, and definitely tired of eating flavorless mush. So, Will did what any good, abused younger brother would do in this situation. He committed absolute corporate betrayal. In 1906, Will secretly bought the commercial rights to the cereal recipe, completely cut ties with his brother, and started his very own company. He called it the Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company, which later just became the Kellogg Company. And the very first thing Will did as CEO, he backed up a metaphorical dump truck full of processed sugar and absolutely buried those innocent, boring flakes in it. Take that, John! Will Kellogg didn't just add sugar, though. He was a marketing genius. He launched the most aggressive, modern advertising campaigns the world had ever seen. He put his own signature on every single box to prove it was the original. He gave away millions of free samples. He literally ran ads telling housewives to wink at their grocer to get a free box of cornflakes. Sales absolutely skyrocketed. The Kellogg Company was making millions. Will was finally rich, successful, and running a massive empire based entirely on sweet, delicious flavor. Meanwhile, back at the sanitarium, John Harvey Kellogg was watching his younger brother become a global cereal tycoon using his invention. And John lost his absolute mind. He rage quit his high horse and decided he wanted a piece of that sweet, sugary pie. He started his own rival cereal company to compete with Will, aggressively marketing his original, flavorless anti-sin flakes. But here is the hilarious part. No one wanted to buy the boring flakes, obviously. So, John sued Will. He dragged his own brother to court, claiming that he was the real Kellogg, and Will had no right to use their last name on the cereal boxes. The courtroom was a circus of petty sibling squabbles. "Your Honor, he stole my flakes and poisoned them with sugar. He is ruining the family name." "Your Honor, he literally made me ride behind his bicycle like a peasant. He doesn't even know how to run a business." "I am a doctor. You invented a machine that slaps people." The legal battle dragged on for literally a decade. The brothers fought tooth and nail, spending a fortune on lawyers, crying literal waterfalls over trademark infringements. But in the end, the court ruled in favor of Will. The judge basically said, "Look, Will is the one who actually built the company and made it famous. He gets the name." John was completely defeated. His own brother had taken his ultimate weapon against self-pleasure, coated it in delicious sugar, and sold it to the masses. The brothers never spoke to each other ever again.
And so we arrive at the absolute sheer irony of modern history. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg set out to create the ultimate joyless weapon, a flavorless cure for human passion designed specifically to stop people from touching themselves and to completely eliminate sugar from the human diet. And what is his actual legacy? His brother took that exact invention, weaponized it with processed sugar, and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar empire. Instead of a medical tool to calm people down, Kellogg's became the absolute king of sugary chaos. They put cartoon tigers and toucans on the boxes, spending millions of dollars to sell pure, unadulterated sugar rushes to generations of hyperactive children. They're great! No, they are not, Tony. They are the high fructose seeds of sin. Dr. Kellogg would be rolling in his grave if he wasn't so aggressively against any form of physical stimulation. So, the next time you sit down at the breakfast table half asleep, pouring milk over your favorite bowl of morning crunch, just remember, the most boring, mundane part of your daily routine is actually the result of a bitter Victorian sibling rivalry, corporate theft, and a deeply uncomfortable crusade against self-pleasure. Dude, uncool. If you want to discover the insane origins of more things you use every day, subscribe to Fascinating Facts,